September the 17th, 2014. My name is Dana Durnford, and you can find my website at Beautiful Girl by Dana, where I usually post these videos, and at thenuclearproctologist.org, where we post pictures of our expedition for life. Now, on March 11, 2014, Japan had a 9.0 earthquake. Shortly after, they had a tsunami that washed away around 500 kilometers of the coastline and destroyed all of those communities, homes, families, and history and heritage. After the tsunami, Unit 1 detonated. It was 100% meltdown, and in comparison, Chernobyl was 1/3 the size of the reactor, and Chernobyl was a 30% meltdown. At Chernobyl, they brought in 600,000 soldiers were conscripted, and they were trained and qualified to use equipment. But they went out on the roof for 15 seconds, the ones who went up on Masha, which was the hot roof of around 12,000 Rankins. The 500 will kill you in about 2 weeks later. Now, these people went up on the roof for 15 seconds, and then they went home. So they shared the radiation dose in 15-second doses, and then they went home. In Fukushima, we're sending in the homeless, the destitute, the marginalized, the victimized, and the most vulnerable of our society to do the most difficult job in our society. Also, on that day, Unit 2, which is not a good picture, it's right alongside of 1, and there's a better picture of Unit 2. Why that might look like it's intact, it's the same thing. It's 100% meltdown, and the fuel pools caught fire and detonated inside the building with the hydrogen from the water and the releases. The fumes, of course, if you spray gasoline or propane in a room, you get a huge explosion. It's the same thing with the hydrogen at Fukushima. It doesn't stop there. We have Unit 3 and Unit 4. These units detonated and were 100% losses. Unit 4 in particular is being used as a fable. Excuse me. And you can see Seth Dorn from CBC's inside a perfect symmetrical building. Inside of that building or the building up above him. How is that even possible? It's a fable. Do you even consider that they're taking fuel rods out of something that was detonated, and they're showing you this picture here? So why are they even bothering? These buildings had emergency water dumped on them, boric acid and lead. And remember at Chernobyl, there was 600 of the helicopter pilots. They all died from radiation exposure. These reactors are hemorrhaging directly into the Pacific Ocean from the mountains behind the reactors. And remember, of course, the reactors detonated, and we didn't show you those pictures, and we'll get to that in a second. Now, the sewage system is so radiated they can't dispose of it in the normal ways they do it. And at nighttime, they're dumping everything into the rivers. Not only are the reactors hemorrhaging constantly and consistently all day long, the most toxic stuff imaginable from the MOX fuel, what they done at Fukushima was they used missiles from silos that were already unstable and then put them through the chain reaction again in order to make wicked isotopes. You don't need these kinds of elements to make power. You need these kind of elements to make directed energy weapons. And the fable of Unit 4, for some reason, is you can see all the media was showing beautiful pictures of Unit 4, and Unit 4 was detonated. It was destroyed. There's no such thing as a wonderful fuel pool inside of that building. And I don't think anybody can argue with me that that beautiful symmetrical fuel pool. And we'll take it over to the desktop and turn around and talk about another topic for a second. Like, let me see. We want a little picture of Zoe. It's not the best one. Geiger counters when we're on a trip to Bamfield. 30 counts per minute, 46 counts a minute. This is at the gas station. 48 counts, it's jumping around. We tried unisievers. Now that wasn't on for very long when I got that particular reading of 0.128. And we'll let that thing go for a little bit more. And so that's the sign of my kid and Terry's kid Jason in the truck. You can't really see it. And these pictures never even came out. Let's scroll down a little bit further. And that's us towing the motorhome across a bridge They never come out very good. Let me keep going. It doesn't matter. Some more Geiger count is what I'm looking for. So we're driving along. When we got out to this sign on Bamfield Road, I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I don't want to embarrass myself. But it's a really beautiful sign they done there. 16 counts per minute. This is a really dusty road, as you can see in the background. 44 counts a minute. 149 unisievers. Now that was only on for probably 5 minutes with that number, so I don't think those types of numbers are accurate. These guys are up, and there's no insects. There's no insects on anything, by the way. The entire road, all we seen was 2 deer. We seen 1 bird. This is like 80, 90 degree temperatures every day. We seen 1 bear. That's all we seen in 84 kilometers. Now today we had to drive back and forth. Everything is covered in dust. This is where they're chopping up all the stuff on the side of the road. I was trying to get a good shot. Let me jump ahead. That's not important. That's not important. The boys went out in the boat today. And let me see what we got here. We shot, unfortunately, the camera, and I'll explain it for you later, was the motorhome broke down, and so we got that towed in. Let me pop over for a second. I think I got pictures of that. Bamfield tow truck. We'll just stick that out there for something to do. Why not? And that company stuck us for $650. And somebody stole all of our life jackets last night up here in Bamfield. Over $800 worth of life jackets. That's pretty devastating, particularly that we had to get a tow truck on the same day. And so they skinned us. Now the truck is sitting into the shop. We think it's something pretty straightforward, like a timing chain. These old 440s are easy to work on. And so that's going to be a bit of an issue, but we'll do it. We'll keep moving. We're in a hotel. We got at least 5 or 6 days. Tomorrow morning they'll give us a diagnosis and an estimate. And they seem like they're pretty good. But I mean, the tow truck's stuck us for $650 for 40-mile tow. So that's pretty rude. And let me see what I can find here for you. Oh yeah, Bamfield. That was about Bamfield signs. Let's go back to some pictures for everybody. Day 4 with the big camera. Jason's pictures. He got better pictures. And we don't know what that is. He took that at home. Let's move it down a little bit. It was too rough for them to get on the beaches. They went out in Barkley Sound. And as you can see, it's too rough. They got up close. They did see around 5 different starfish. So that's really, or 4 different starfish. And they were in bunches of purples and oranges and reds. And so we're going to go back out tomorrow and send them back out there tomorrow. And they're going to go a couple of miles further in because it's too rough out there. Let me go through the pictures. It's too rough out there. Oh, we got a few cormorants up on the rock there with a few seagulls. And so there's still fish out there. You can see there's big dips in the ocean, right? That's the ocean water coming back down. And the pictures never come out very good because he's using a camera that's meant for up close. And we got the other camera, but it was set to low resolution. And I was playing around with it, and the truck broke down. We had to go get a tow truck and hotel rooms. And I never reset it, so they end up with low quality pictures. We'll go back out for the next 5 days. And there's a lot of caves along here. You can see how rough it is. It chewed out all these caves. And so there's quite a bit of kelp, they said. But it's the same kelp, just more of it. It's the same species, just more of it. They did see, and we got some pictures of green sea anemones and white sea anemones. That's all we're finding. The other 60 odd species of sea anemones, we haven't seen them. But it was too rough to get in close to the coastline and get on the beaches. And while it might not look like it, you'll be surprised in Barkley Sound on the west coast of Vancouver Island. And so like I said, what we're going to do is they can get on the back of the beach and walk across the island and get down on the shoreline and get close-up shots of the tidal pools. Because what we're after is the tidal pools, the nursery of the ocean. And that's gooseneck barnacles you're mostly looking at there. And so that'll be just goosenecks and mussels. And I used to dive all of the spots like this. This is where I would work all day in these areas. And there's bull kelp there, you can't really see it. So we're seeing the same species we're seeing everywhere else. And you would expect to see everything out here. There was 5,600 species, the same as Georgia Straits, but there was another 1,800 species here. They did see a nudie branch, and that to me is pretty cool. Unfortunately, they can't stop Fukushima, and so it doesn't matter what you see because Fukushima is still hemorrhaging to the ocean. And even if they were to shut Fukushima off today, you can't save that Pacific. But it is interesting to see over the next 5 days what we find there. And I hope we find a healthy ocean, I really do. Unfortunately, what we've seen in the last 500 kilometers is the same thing. And tomorrow we'll go out and we'll get really good shots on the beach because that's the only way we're going to be able to pull it off. And everything is far distance shots because it's too rough to get in close to that stuff. But you can see there's a bit more vegetation. And the gooseneck barnacles, because they hang on pretty good. They glue on like mussels glue on. And there's a bunch of birds I wanted to have a look at. And so it's all the same anyway. We'll go out, do much better tomorrow. Let's run over and have a quick boo at the other camera shots. Day 4. Where you to, buddy? Day 4. Let's try that one there. Maybe that's it. Well, that one's got the videos in it. And I'm not sure if the videos will pop up. Let me see. We'll try it. The audio won't come up. But you might see some of the sea anemones at the wharf. I'll stop the picture if we can get a good... See red sea anemones, green sea anemones, and white sea anemones today. But this is really dirty down there. But I was right on the wharf, not on the rocks. Now the launch ramp didn't have anything on it. See that? Sea anemones, reds, greens. That's on the wharf though. Now, when you go down to launch the boat, there's nothing on any of the launches we went to. All the launches should be covered. Every rock should be covered. Everything should be covered. And white sea anemones and all the other 70 species of sea anemones should be in that area. You should get 64 species of starfish. You should never get just a handful of starfish that we see, not even a handful, and we don't see many. And so that's all videos. I'm not going to try to go through that. They're not high quality, but they're not bad. And we'll sort through and see if we got something that's clean enough to put up on the site. And so that's all I got for everybody tonight, I think. But there was another little one I wanted to touch on. Let's run through a few headlines before I forget about it. All water samples in China had strontium-90 in it, August 24, 2011. And who knows what that is? That's background radiation. Remember, banana got nothing to do with this. Walking in the sunshine got nothing to do with this. Toothpaste and everything else got... Well, I guess toothpaste is really bad for you. Many Chernobyl scientists dead, survivors with chromosome and DNA damages. November the 1st, 2011. Japan cancer specialists. If this many people are having similar symptoms, doctors need to recognize them as symptoms of radiation exposure. Japan is polluted forever. It's destroyed forever. And all your media and all your institutions lied about it and said there was no issues there. And at the same time, they said that there was nothing going into the ocean. Now we know there's 1,440 plumes a day. They always refer to it as a single plume, but there's actually 1,440 plumes a day every day. There's 50 square miles of plumes coming out of Fukushima that'll last for millions and millions of years because they used MOX fuel. The reactors, all the reactors had MOX fuel in it. All of them detonated. The 4 that we talk about. 5 and 6 couldn't go into cold shutdown. The Daini had 4 in heart attack mode. There's at least another 7 in Japan that we don't know nothing about, but we know they couldn't go into cold shutdown. These are evil people, what they done. They got no morals about it. Children respiratory problems at 700% previous levels, hemorrhaging at 900% in areas contaminated by Chernobyl meltdown. Xenon was known to dramatically increase lung cancer. Wherever you see that, there was 31 times more iodine-129. Iodine-129 got a 15 million year half-life. And there was 10 times more whatever iodine 131, there was 10 times more 132. That ionized and radiates the thyroid gland 9 times more effectively. Not to mention there was 30 times more iodine 133. Not to mention whenever you hear cesium 137, there's some big numbers for North America, there was 100 times more strontium 90. Not to mention there was 2,000 other radioactive elements. A couple of hundred of them with millions of years of half-lives. You're talking about max fuel. You're talking about reactors. You're talking about reactors that were running missiles that were reused for a chain reaction after sitting unstable for decades. Comparisons with X-rays and CAT scans meaningless. Inhaling particles, see? 1/10,000th of a millionth of a meter. They're smaller than a nano. But they give you X-ray every moment of your life. Trillions in your lifetime. It takes 5, 10, 15 years for the cancer to manifest. But the filter feeders and the tidal pools is what we want to look at, not the shoreline, but the tidal pools itself. That's the nursery of the ocean. But it only takes 3 days for the jet stream to bring it across the ocean. 3 days. Let me see if I can find something for you to help you comprehend how straightforward that is. And we'll find that. 10 frames a second. Hang on. Like, this is NOAA's. NOAA didn't make this up for something new. They based this upon a single release from Unit 1 over 40 days. There was three melter reactors. Number 4 detonated and then detonated again. Caught fire. And all the fuel is alleged to have absolutely aerosol and atomized and is in that mixture. But that's not including any of that. That's not including the spent fuel pools from 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's just from the reactor. That model is only based upon 40 days from a single release from a single reactor. Where do you think that's going to go? Everything on the west side is going to wash down to the Pacific Ocean. Everything on the east side is going to wash down to the Atlantic Ocean, to the Gulf. It's not a joke. It's the real deal. And of course, it's hemorrhaging into that ocean. And these models are only based upon releases from number 1. They're not based upon releases from 2, 3, 4. They're not based upon the coriums that are in the fuel pool. And they're based upon a 6-year dispersion when it only takes 131 days at 2 miles an hour to cross the friggin' ocean. And so they're disingenuous with the model. They don't use the actual amount. They don't use any other of the elements. They only include the cesium and iodine with an 8-day half-life. And they know that the reactor's running uranium, not iodine. Iodine's a byproduct. And so people got to get their heads out of their ass and deal with this, or there's not going to be nothing left to deal with. You got to treat it like a big meteorite coming at this planet. Tomorrow we're going to go out and we're going to find some other species. But it doesn't matter if we can't stop Fukushima. Why does it even matter? What's there? Well, it matters because we can't have a debate, because people have been hypnotized and fooled and tricked and deceived their entire life with bananas, walking in the sunshine, dental x-rays, and just normal stuff that you eat. Bananas. You can fill this building up with bananas. It's not going to mutate a fruit fly. You put a cup of that stuff in here, it'll kill everybody in this room for 1,000,000 years that walks in here within the hour. Till the end of time. That's why they need sarcophagus. That's why they need trillions of dollars for waste disposal centers. That's why they try to put it a half a mile on the ground and whip. Not because it's like bananas, but because it's frightening friggin' shit. And so people that say it's like bananas, you should take a banana and shove one up each of their noses. One up their arse. That's what they deserve. Nothing less. You guys have a nice night. We're going to go out tomorrow. Like I said, we got jacked of all of our life jackets. The tow truck jacked us $650 for a 40-mile drive. But we'll keep on going. We're not stopping for nothing, for nobody. And it's just shocking that someone would steal your life jackets. It's really disheartening that somebody would do that to us. Because we wear them. That's the only reason we recognized they were gone right away, is because we wear them. And you've seen the waves out there. You got any idea? There's like 6,000 rocks out here at low tide, and we're in that rock pile. And they know we're doing stuff like that, and they stole our life jackets. It's really frightening that people would do that. Just like people that will say it's bananas. Like bananas. Oh, radiation like a banana. It's like walking in the sunshine. I mean, really. Those people, they're not going to be able to face their own children in the near future, let alone anybody else or even themselves. There'll be a lot of mirrors busted in the near future, I can assure you. Take care, folks. We'll be back tomorrow night. I'm uploading pictures onto the nuclearproctologist.org of Barkley Sound, and we're uploading right now as we sit here. It's on the front page, day 4. We still got a long way to go. We're on a small budget. We do need help all the way through because we don't have any big donors. Everything we get, we got to spend it as quick as we get it to keep moving. And I guess that's just the way it's going to be. We're not a university. We're not an institution with endless funds and all kinds of equipment and the Coast Guard and everybody else willing to help you and do everything for you and give you float planes and everything else. You know, if 100,000 people gave us $1 each, we can get a plane every day or a helicopter and hire a local photographer in each community, and they can go along the coastline for an hour and take pictures while we're in the boat going the other way getting samples. And that's what we should be doing. 100,000 people should give us $1 each. Nobody was burdened. And I can guarantee you one thing, we'll have the data. We'll tell you and show you definitively the entire coast, how good or how bad it really is. Right now, we're only finding the same species everywhere we go. And we're finding a little bit thicker out here, but we'll have to go look. We did find a nudibranch. We did find the red sea anemone. That's pretty cool. But it ain't going to last longer because you ain't going to stop Fukushima by sitting on our arses. We treat it like a meteorite coming at us, or we all lay down and give up. And does the 8.8 million species on this planet deserve that? No. That's why we're here. We're not here for the human species. We're here for the other 8.8 million. The humans are further up the food chain. They'll manage to do something. Those 8.8 million species, they haven't got a hope in hell. Nobody's looking out for them. Yes, I'm looking out for the human, but what about everything else? Without the phytoplankton, it don't even matter anyway. And that radiation will kill all the phytoplankton in the ocean, in the Pacific, what's already deposited, and nobody's trying to stop Fukushima. I'm not the bad person for trying to flush this out. I am not the bad person. And there's nobody can convince me that I'm doing anything wrong by going out and trying to determine how bad it is, because everybody I turned to told me it was like a banana, potato chips, walking in sunshine, getting x-rays. We'll see you folks tomorrow night.